My career's had a lot of twists and turns, and there's been a lot of successes and failures. Music is the only thing in my life that I knew I could do. When I was 10 years old, my uncle took me to my first concert. I saw Green Day at Maple Leaf Gardens. Seeing the crowd, hearing the band ripping it on stage, it just set off this fire inside of me that I wanted to be a rock star. I somehow convinced my parents to get me my first real drum set. 1, 2! Eventually joined a couple different bands and had varying degrees of success.
Well, I was walking alone, I wasn't feeling alright. God saved my life.
When you're passionate about something, you try to keep yourself in that world as much as possible. There was nothing else that existed in my world other than music.
What is wrong with the world today? Millions of Polaroids are doing okay.
All the bands that I've been in, I've always been the youngest member. The cool thing that came from that was that I was always finding bandmates that were also very entrepreneurial, so there was a lot that I learned from them. My very first band, I thought, hey, we're just gonna play music in the garage, whereas these guys were like, let's book shows, let's make our own merchandise, let's build a website and promote ourselves. Been lucky to have my songs played on the radio, had songs featured in television shows, toured around, had a major label distribution deal. But in that pursuit of being a rock star, I kind of also realized until that happened, I needed to get jobs. I needed to make a living. I think a big thing for me was when my final band broke up. I realized that I had been relying on partnering with other people to share the same vision as me. Their priorities shifted, and it kind of made me realize that I couldn't necessarily rely on other people to live my dream. So I had to find ways to push it myself. I eventually did go to audio college for music production. The recording side of things became what I would do with my free time. That led me down the road of doing jobs in studios, recording bands. I did audio post-production, working for film and TV, worked on tours as a tour manager, as a live sound guy. I was fortunate enough to be able to go on the road with bands like Kiss and Collective Soul. Being on the road with bands that are quite successful, you learn a lot. And I've always viewed myself as the type of person who wants to learn from people that are a step ahead of me or a couple steps ahead of me. That's something that has carried with me throughout the learning process of even starting a membership. I didn't know how to do that when I got started. I had a friend who one day said, hey, you're really good at recording. Have you ever thought about maybe teaching this? I was listening to some podcasts and I heard Stu McLaren talking about this idea of creating a membership site.
A knowledge-based membership is either going to teach somebody a new skill or it's going to help somebody solve an ongoing problem.
So your bread and butter became teaching people how to do it themselves?
Essentially, yeah. These days there's a lot more people recording their music from home and trying to do it on the cheap.
This is the most common type of membership that I get to work with.
Let's talk about miking a guitar amp. In terms of microphone placement, face it right at the center of the speaker cone, and that's going to give you the most mid-range bite. All right, in this video, we're going to edit the guitars for this track. Membership sites can allow you to have recurring revenue and compounding revenue. As you get more people in, it grows and compounds every month.
There's a reason big companies like Apple and Netflix, huge companies who once sold physical products are moving to subscriptions. And the great news for you and I is that any company can do this.
The program made it very simple to understand what goes into a membership site, how to create it, how to market it, what kind of content you need to have in there, how to keep people in your membership, how to handle the tech side of things as well.
For those people that want to take their communities off of Facebook or another platform, you can now build a familiar but unique experience right inside of membership.io.
With the Success Path model that Stu teaches, it allows people to come into a membership and find what's most relevant to them.
Do you remember your first customer?
Yeah, I remember my first customer, Paul Austin from the UK, and when that email came through, it just blew my mind that someone on the other side of the world had connected with me and resonated with what I was teaching and wanted to learn more. I'm going to move the microphone back and forth so that we can really hear the effect of distance in real time. Eventually I realized that there was enough of a demand to help people with their music, and I was in the position where I could help them. That ended up becoming such a regular part of my daily activities that it eventually turned into this full-time job that I'm proud to have now. So let's talk about recording drums. I always like to start with the microphone in the middle of the drum, and then I'll adjust accordingly based on the sound that I need. There's nothing more rewarding to me than seeing my students get excited about putting out their music. There's been people that have just written me to say, hey, I finally achieved my dream of releasing an album. Having this online membership has basically allowed me to have that recurring revenue and peace of mind knowing that month after month my income is covered, but it's also given me a lot more freedom in terms of time to spend with my family. Definitely I have way more time these days to focus on my music and playing drums a lot more. Started playing in another band, just kind of reigniting that passion that I had really young. I feel like I have that ability now because I've created the business that gives me the freedom in my hours and in income to make time for that stuff again. It's kind of just become full circle in that sense. If someone were thinking of joining this program, I would definitely say do it. It's given me a lot of clarity on how to run my business and to be more in control of my own career and to know how to take the steps that are going to push my business further and give me the same level of satisfaction and freedom that I went into this originally wanting as a rock star, but now I get to do this in the online space.
'Cause I am moving forward, waiting, give it some time.
To do this, you need to believe in yourself.
I got another day.